Dear ladies and gentlemen, welcome again to the analysis of Yoleno TV, and this is your favorite segment, the Big Point Analysis. Now, the two Indians case has taken a new twist with the disbanded S.S.U unit now filing the members of that unit filing an affidavit that sought to clear the air and say that whatever the case that have been brought against them is politically instigated. You will remember that these were some of those allegations about the political instigations. Those allegations were made during the handshake, era. And with this government has always been hell-bent on making sure that Kinoti is fixed, or rather Kinoti is taken to account to all these atrocities that is alleged that he could have committed, though we are not sure, but that's what they've been peddling. So there have been arrests of, I think now close to 9. I think there are 9 people have been arrested previously. There had been arrested 4, if not 3. And then there's another arrest that was done last week of 5. Now, the affidavits that have been filed were from one of the people, was the Chief Inspector, Peter Muthe. Then there was Francis Ndonyo, and then we have George Mwangi. So we have these 3 affidavits which have taken center stage in this case. So, according to what Chief Inspector Peter Muthe says, that he was accused of being a commander of the team that abducted the 2 Indian nationals, probably with the driver for the 2 Indian nationals. And so he says that I deny working in cahoots with any serving police officer and person in any security other than security agency. I'm therefore not in a position of interfering with any ongoing investigation. So he also goes further and says the Internal Affairs Unit is seeking an order for my DNA sample for profiling, which is objected on the basis that there is a likelihood of my DNA being placed on the alleged recovered item so as to yield the intended result. Peter Muthe has made it categorical that this is an intended plan to have my DNA placed on the evidences that have been gathered from Aberdare Forest. Mind you, in the previous analysis we talked about, when we were talking about Amin's secret cards on DCI Kinoti, we talked about Aberdare as the bones being recovered in Aberdare, and I think that was shortly after the president made his commitment to bring to book the culprits of that abduction. So we talked about that, and we also mentioned that the recovery of the bones led to several arrests of the DCI disbanded unit. So I don't know if the main intention is to have these officers arrested so that they can lead the investigative officers into arresting DCI Kinoti. I don't know whether that's the plan of Amin, but that is what's going on at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. Peter Muthe has distanced himself that he was not the commander of that unit that led that operation. Peter Muthe also blames political fixing of the new regime, to be targeting him and his team, that the political regime could be fixing him, So the question is very simple here, ladies and gentlemen. Why couldn't they go? Why did they just go to Kinoti? Because Kinoti was the head of the DCI. So why was it so difficult for them to go to Kinoti direct? That is simple. Target the junior so that they can target the junior so that they can expose the senior. And that is what I think even in ICC, that's what they did when they decided to have when they decided to have Kenyatta and Ruto for the ICC case. Maybe most people thought that they said that the target was not to arrest them, but the target was to arrest those seniors, and those seniors were Kibaki and Raila. So I think this is a move, a similar move that we think that is what is going on, that arrest the junior so that they can expose the senior. So Francis Ndonyo, one of those arrestees of these atrocities that have been put on the DCI disbanded unit, the S.S.U, is that Francis Ndonyo also had to distance himself from the vehicle, that the Subaru vehicle that is claimed to have been the one used to stop the Indians from moving on with their journey. Remember, if you looked at that clip very well, the animated clip, then you found that there was a vehicle that was carrying the two Indians. Then again, there was another vehicle that intercepted the vehicle that carried, two vehicles intercepted the vehicle that carried the two Indians. So the driver who intercepted that is Francis Ndonyo, has distanced himself from those allegations. And he filed an affidavit and said that on the 22nd, 24th July 22, I mean, that is now the period where this abduction took place. He says that he had traveled to Makindu since he was off duty. So if he was off duty, then it could have been possible, it could not have been possible that he was involved in that ordeal. Mind you, William Samoei Ruto knows very well how the government operates, and this seems to be well calculated and hitting where it hurts the most. The DCI, you hit the SS unit, you target directly the person who headed that unit. The formation of that unit was by DCI Kinoti, and the trainings and everything. And by the way, what they are saying is that the DCI unit is a multi-agency unit, and it's composed of even, from what I understand, the judiciary, AG, we have the KWS, we have the Kenya Police, we have the KDF, and we have a lot of other people composes that unit. So they say that, why is it that it's only the DCI who are targeted? Because the composition of that unit also is composed of the DCI. But then there's the Kenya Police, KDF, we have the Kenya prisons, we have the judiciary, we have the judiciary, yes, we have the AG, DCI, and why not other agencies? Why not go for them also? So that is what the arrested S.S.U officers are alleging. So Joseph Mbugua has also claimed that he was not involved. John Mwangi also, the driver that took the two Indians to Aberdare, that is, when the abduction was done, stopping that vehicle, taking the two Indians into this other vehicle and rushing with them. So there's the driver that is alleged to have taken these two Indians says that the claims are baseless and lacks documentation. He says that at Oleseren area, he was not available during that ordeal. So ladies and gentlemen, a new twist into this matter is that the arrested S.S.U officers have distanced themselves from these allegations. Some of them are saying the DNA, the taking of their DNA is meant to plant them, in those evidence which have been recovered so that they can be fixed. Mind you, the fixing is targeting Kinoti, because when you arrest the juniors, you will technically have arrested the senior, because the juniors operate under the orders of the senior. So now, if the senior issued a directive to have them arrested, then definitely the juniors will expose the senior. So the twist of event here is that we find that these juniors are claiming that agencies are forcing them to have their DNA taken so that they can be compared with the DNA that has been taken on those evidences. So they are saying that is a plan to have the DNA planted on those evidences so that they can be found culpable and punishable by law. So mind you, if should this DNA be taken and planted on the evidences, that will be an indirect way of arresting former DCI Kinoti. So ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about this move? Do you think it is fair for the DNA to be taken? Because at the end of the day, something has to be done. The DNA has to be taken for comparison with what's been found on the items. So what should the government do? What they officers are saying that should that be the case, then their representatives must be there during taking of the DNS, during comparison, and to the government chemists, and to the government labs, and everything, so that all these things are done in the presence of their lawyers. So, ladies and gentlemen, kindly share to think your thoughts. Kindly share your thoughts up with regards to this issue. And once again, I'd like to say, stay safe and stay blessed until we meet again for another analysis.